Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Give it a hand to the band, first of all. It's lovely to have a house band. Welcome to GESF Live. I am Rory Bremner. I'm your host for today's show. Welcome to this, the most exciting event happening anywhere in a tent outside the Atlantis Palm Hotel in Dubai this afternoon. You're our guinea pigs. This is our very, very first show. And it's great to see so many people here. I don't think there's ever been so many people in a tent like this before. I really don't. There's got to be 20,000 people in this room. Beautiful, beautiful people. So many wonderful people. People have come from all around the world, from Europe, United States, from South Africa, India, Japan, even from the other end of the Atlantis Palm in Dubai. How many are staying at the hotel? Anyone staying in the hotel? Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it amazing? My room is just a 10-minute taxi drive from the lift lobby. You've got to go there. You enjoying the conference? Yeah. This is something really, really special. I've been all around the world. This is a really amazing thing, bringing together teachers, educationalists, role models from all around the world. And of course, we've got the Global Teacher Prize that's coming up tomorrow. That's going to be awarded tomorrow evening, so don't miss that. Make sure you get to see as much of this festival as possible. There's a House of Commons themed debating chamber. There's a United Nations inspired international forum. There's a future zone. There's cafes. There's plenaries. There's so much to see. Get online at GEF 2018. Okay, and the password is education, right? There's Wi-Fi everywhere. I went to a funeral the other day. I go into the church, I said to the vicar, I said, can you tell me the Wi-Fi password? He said, I think that's a bit disrespectful. I said, is that all lowercase? Thank you. Meet the band, everyone. They're so good, they're beautiful people, wonderful people. I'm liking that look. Are you Mexican? Tell me, turn around, look at that. Do you see the wall there? You might have to get used to that, let me tell you. It's going to be great. It's a big wall. You know, I'm going to England soon. I'm going to see Hadrian's Wall. That was great. I knew him very well, Hadrian. Wonderful man. Great guy. Wonderful wall. You don't get many Mexicans in Scotland, let me tell you. So, I love Dubai. Have you been to Dubai? Wonderful place. Burj Khalifa, have you seen that? I call it the Trump Tower. The Burj Khalifa. Let me tell you a little bit about the Burj Khalifa. 160 floors, actually 161, but that's another story. Thank you. I went to the souk. I got a beautiful pashmina from Melania. That was a wonderful swap. Thank you. I'm here all week. Try the veal. I even went camel racing. Camel racing, wonderful. I don't want to boast. Let me tell you, I must have beaten that camel by 20 lengths. Really, really got the hump. So, it's great being in this part of the world as well. Finding out little subtle differences between the Emirates. For example, you know, the people from Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people from Abu Dhabi do. That's out tomorrow then. Okay. No, it's great. We're hoping for a visit from our own British Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with Boris Johnson? Let me ask you this. This is our wonderful British Foreign Secretary, who I am the unlikely love child of Angela Merkel and Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen. And it is extraordinary. Wherever he goes in the world, he arrived in, I think it was the Caribbean last year. There'd just been, of course, the storms, the hurricanes. People were battening down the hatches, and he arrived. Let me say to the unfortunate victims of this catastrophe, who have lost their homes and their livelihoods and their families. I say to you, I say, Hakuna Matata, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we're ready to go. Let me tell you about this. This is the forum's very own chat show. First time we've done this, you are our first audience. What we're doing here, this is a safe zone. Our job is to entertain you. That's all it's about. We're going to entertain you. We're going to introduce some extraordinary and inspiring people. In the course of the next 2 days, we're going to meet some amazing people. We've got Olympic medalists. We've got Oscar-winning film stars. We've got former prime ministers. We've got a former vice president. Let me tell you, I thought he was going to succeed me in the White House. Any Bill Clinton fans in? He was so hoping Hillary was going to win. Let me say, I was looking forward to going back to the White House. A lot of great things happened there under me, let me tell you. But hey, we're going to meet Al Gore later on tomorrow, I believe. But that's going to be great fun. So we've got all these amazing people, and they've all got one thing in common. They all share a passion for spending a weekend in Dubai. Education, sorry. For education. They've all got stories to tell, they've got experiences to share, they've got wisdom to pass on, and I'll be asking some of them their predictions for 2030, by which time Kim Jong-un will be into his second term in the White House, Dubai will be even bigger, and the United Kingdom will still be negotiating Brexit. Okay. We've got a packed first show, we need to crack on. So what do an Olympic gold medalist, an inspiring teacher and winner of the Global Teacher Prize, a world-class music producer and 3 YouTube sensations have in common? Well, I guess we're about to find out because they're all on the sofa in our first show. Round of applause. Brilliant. Okay, so first off, someone who's used to coming first, gold medal in Athens, gold in Beijing, 12 medals in all. That's a record, by the way, let me tell you, that's a record. She is the joint most successful female swimmer of all time, the first woman to swim the 100-meter backstroke in 1 minute, which, to be honest, is about the time it takes me to get into the pool in the first place. Would you please welcome the wonderful, inspirational Natalie Coughlin! Natalie, a fantastic, the joint most successful female swimmer of all time.
Thank you, yes.
Must be wonderful for a swimmer to finally arrive in Atlantis.
It is. This is my first time at the Atlantis, but I've been to Dubai before, actually, for World Championships, and we used to have a World Cup stop here.
Wow, so this is familiar territory for you.
It is.
Absolutely. So when did you actually start swimming?
I started lessons at 10 months old because I grew up in California.
Yeah.
So my parents were just really responsible parents, knowing that we had a pool in our backyard, so they taught me how to swim and brought me to swim lessons. And then at age 6, I joined a local swim team, and I had been doing it ever since.
Was there a moment when you thought, actually, this is not just fun, this is what I want to do, this is where I'm going? I
was always a very confident young person. I like to say that I was competitive out of the womb. Yeah. So, you know, when I was 6 was 1988, and that was the Olympics, where I watched Janet Evans and Matt Biondi win gold medals, and my friends and I all went around saying, I'm going to do that someday. No idea what that meant at the time, and it took about 7 years for the talent to start to show from all that hard work and competitiveness, but about 13 was when I got really serious.
And you have to have really supportive parents to do that, don't you?
Very, because
are they driving all around America,
mornings.
all of that?
Yes.
Early mornings?
Yes.
It's a lot of hard work, isn't it?
It's a lot of hard work for everyone involved.
What about the coaching? Because a lot of people, obviously the concern is education, and what would you say the difference is between a teacher and a coach?
They're the same, honestly. The coaches, for good or bad, could leave such an impression on you, just like any other teacher. You know, you spend 7 or 8 hours a day in school on academics, and then you spend another 5 hours, oftentimes what I was doing in high school and in college.
It's hard to balance those, isn't it? It must be really hard to kind of...
But at the same time, having such strong demands in the pool and in athletics kept me on track in the school, in the classroom. And like I said, I was always a competitive person, and that extended to the classroom as well.
There's a really fascinating debate going on in England at the moment about coaching, because of course to get an Olympic medal, to get even near the Olympics, you're not going to do that in your comfort zone. You have to be pushed, you have to be challenged, and it's a question of how far you challenge, because you know there's worrying now about, you know, does it cross over into bullying or whatever. How do you feel about that? Because you're being really tested, aren't you?
You are, and actually I majored in psychology at University of California, and one of the things that I learned just from experience is the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And if someone, if a parent or a coach is telling you your goals, that you're never going to be successful. You have to figure that out for yourself, and you have to be self-motivated. So, you know, a little bit of a nudge to get a little bit more out of you is great, but when it extends into bullying, it's not healthy for anybody.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you know, we've got something in common. I don't know if you know this. If I haunt you with a voice from the past, Natalie, you are swimming like a torrent of pent-up passion.
Is that Bruno?
That's ringing the bells, my darling. But you made a couple of mistakes, my darling. Your arms could have been... You did Dancing with the Stars.
I did. And that's
Strictly.
Fantastic
Is it not
impression.
the scariest thing you have ever done in your life?
You know, it was so funny because I thought it was going to be the scariest. And we practiced 3 or 4 weeks before the first competition. And I kept telling my partner, I'm going to get so nervous. I'm going to get so nervous. And then the first performance, I wasn't nervous at all. I was like, oh my gosh. The Olympic Games is the most stressful thing.
I was going to say.
You know, competing one minute of the next minute will determine the next several years of my life and represents the decades before of hard work. So going through that and then doing Dancing with the Stars was just icing on the cake.
It was. And what we were good at ballroom or the Latin, because people to kind of divide. Some are very good at ballroom was my thing, quick step.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that. But I've watched some of your Latin dance. My darling, your Latin dance, you're very good.
Thank you.
You know, all that heat. But did you find that those were easier?
Yes, I loved the bolero and the rumba. I was very flexible, and so my partner tried to throw in splits and backbends as much as possible. So it was so fun. I had such a great time.
How'd you get on with Len Goodman? Len, well, I like a bit of the old Latin, but not too much.
He was great. He was great. The judges were really fun. But being on reality television was just such a different thing for me. As a swimmer, you never have to worry about being pretty or having, you know, a nice face when you're swimming. And oftentimes,
well, I don't, obviously.
Well, oftentimes I was known for making these like scowling faces before my races because I was getting into the zone. And so to try and have a pretty face while I'm performing was completely different, but it was a fun experience.
But you're now carrying on the competitive thing into cookery. I mean, how do you cook competitively? Well,
I've competed like for charity on Chopped on the Food Network, and I've been on Iron Chef as a judge and things like that. Currently, I am finishing up my cookbook, which will come out next spring of 2019.
Nice plug. You should have brought it with you. We could have.
I know I don't have any mock-ups yet, but cooking is such an expression of all my travels from from every competition. The food that my family cooked for me while I was growing up, it represents such memories and just sharing love with other people. And so that's one of the reasons I cook so much.
So looking back at your success, I mean, are you going to translate that into the future? What does that hold for you? Are you going to go into coaching? Are you going to go into commentating, television? What's next for you? I
am doing so many different things. So I just started a winery out in California. I'm in the Bay Area, just outside Napa Valley. So this is actually our first year that we're releasing 2017 vintages. And I'm also in a startup, a tech startup. So we're doing real-time analytics for sport. We're starting with swimming. So using your iPad or your iPhone to get real-time analytics, and so it'll be so cool.
It'll be very exciting.
Yeah.
But whatever else happens in your life, you are an Olympic gold medal winner.
You can't take that away, which is amazing.
How does that feel? I've met a few at Kelly Holmes back home, and Olympians, they have a different aura to them. You're almost like a different breed.
I take that as a compliment.
It is, it's totally, because you inspire people. And here we're talking about education, that's the important thing. So do you have a message in terms of education, the next generation? How do you see the lessons that you learned in swimming translating to the classroom?
Well, to the classroom, it's really about setting a goal and figuring out your path to that goal. And something that could be so gargantuan as winning an Olympic gold medal can seem like out of reach, but when you break it down, like this is what I need to do 4 years before the Olympics. This is what I need to do 1 year before the Olympics. When you figure out the pathway, it makes it a lot easier, and you could do that in the classroom as well.
So it's being organized and keeping motivation, because you were 3 games. That's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, the motivation part is really difficult, and in the water, it could be the loneliest place. You're in your own head. You don't get to talk to anybody. You don't really get to interact with anyone unless your coach is yelling at you when you're on the wall. But
you did it all. That's 60 medals. I only mentioned the Olympic ones, but 60 other ones, and 23 gold. I think 20. You remember them.
I'm sure it's on my Wikipedia.
Just an inspiring figure. Thank you very much. Well, that went swimmingly, ladies and gentlemen. Natalie Coughlin. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we talked about the role of teachers and coaches. My next guest is a gold medal winning teacher. She was in fact the winner of the 2017 Global Teacher Prize right here in recognition of her pioneering work in a remote Inuit community in the Canadian Arctic. She and her students have taken on the challenges of this remote location with energy, imagination and compassion. And she was also named as one of the BBC's most inspirational and innovative women of 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maggie McDonnell. Maggie,
Good.
welcome. I was going to say welcome back because does this place hold special memories for you?
I definitely have some memories from here.
Tell us about last year.
Well, last year was phenomenal. It was groundbreaking for me even when I was recognized as top 50. I thought, wow, career highlight. Like,
how did you hear? Did you just get a letter in the post? Actually, we'll find out. Actually, it's very unlikely getting a letter in the post where you teach. We'll come to that.
It takes about 6 weeks to get there, but yeah, I did find out through email, which we do have some internet problems in the Arctic. We are on the digital divide, but eventually I got the email.
Come on, AT&T. Surely you can get to the Arctic now. So you heard you're in the top 50.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh my goodness. In fact, I heard I was in the top 50. I was in Tanzania getting married. So I had good internet right
Hang on,
there.
whoa.
Yeah, I jump around a lot.
1 minute in the Arctic,
Yeah.
then you're in sub-Saharan Africa. What have you
Christmas break, I went to Tanzania.
What have you got against temperate climates?
I don't know, man. It's just so exotic to be in these foreign places.
You just like extreme heat, extreme cold. Okay, so you're in Tanzania when you're here?
Yeah, I was amazed. It was just after New Year's. I'm like, this is one of the best moments of my life. Just got married, just been named top 50. I can't believe it.
Who nominated you? How did it?
It was, in fact, so touching. It was my students who were part of the nomination process. And one of the best moments was that I actually got to bring those students here with me to Dubai last year. And one of them got to come up on stage with me when I won and hoist that trophy together. So that was
and these are the Inuit
powerful.
students.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like the lottery. You have to be Inuit to win it. Band, thank you. Wake up over there. Anyway, so and tell us about this. It's a remarkable place where you teach and remarkable children. Tell us about where you teach.
Yeah.
I believe you have to fly in there, don't you? You can only way in is by plane.
Yeah.
It's like Monaco, but slightly colder.
So.
Okay, that's enough.
Your gateway.
Band, every now and again, if it's too often, you're fired. You know that? Yes, you need to bear it in mind, especially the Mexican one there. Okay, Maggie, I'm so sorry. We were back in the Arctic.
Yes, back to the Arctic. So you would leave from Montreal, and you need to have about $4,000 in your pocket, because that's what it's going to cost for a plane ticket to get to the village that I work in. You're going to fly all day on what we call a milk run, and you're going to stop at each coastal village. There's 14 villages that dot the coastline in the Arctic region where I work. You're going to drop off mail, pick up new passengers, etc. Stop, go, and eventually by about 8 p.m. at night, hopefully, if there's no blizzard, etc., mechanical delays, you'll arrive in an amazing village called Salawat, nestled in between these gorgeous mountains covered with snow.
That's extraordinary. What took you there? You weren't born there. What took you there?
Well, as I mentioned, I have a huge connection to Tanzania. When I finished my first degree, I spent a lot of time doing international development work. But as a Canadian, I knew, we have a lot of development work we need to do within our own borders. We have such a contested and hard history with our Indigenous people, and we're at a stage now in our country where we're talking about reconciliation and healing, and I wanted to go and experience working with Indigenous people and just have that lived experience to help inform me as a Canadian, because I just felt a responsibility as a citizen to know more about our history and our people.
It's a remarkable, I think your plane is just leaving, actually. That's got to go 14 stops to get back to the Arctic.
Yeah.
But this is also, you winning last year's Global Teacher Prize, it's also had an effect on your students as well, I'd imagine.
Oh my goodness, I've been invited since this prize to so many places like Chile, Argentina, China, France, etc., etc. And every time when they invite me, I challenge them. I say, don't just invite me, invite my students, and let's have Indigenous content on this trip. And so my students now have met President Bachelet in Chile. They've met former President Bill Clinton when they were at the United Nations in New
How
York.
they got on with Bill Clinton? I gotta say, I've never met an Inuit before. Do we get to rub noses? Is that what we do? Sorry, that's probably very offensive. I apologize to the Inuits watching this on a very crackly internet line. So tell me, were you inspired by teachers as a young person, and what got you into teaching?
I just loved school. It was always just such a safe place for me to come every day, and it was all that work that my teachers did, not just inside the classroom, but outside the classroom, that made my life so rich, even though I grew up in a rural area that was pretty remote. And my teachers also enabled me to like work with young people. I remember my first gym teacher actually created programs where I was just 14, but I started coaching at that age.
Wow.
You know, so he was teaching me and then teaching me how to be a teacher as well.
So, but it's not just the classroom, is it? I mean, it's the outside. You're teaching them life skills, because also you have to deal with mental health increasingly.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, your students are how old?
They really range from 11 years to 18 years.
Because the changes in their brain, we're finding out much more in terms of mental health. The changes, your brain is moving from being essentially guided by the amygdala and your emotions and your needs to reason and rationality. People used to say, oh, teenagers, it's just, it's just hormones. But there's so much more going on, and you're having to deal with all that and teach them life skills as well. Yeah,
and layered on that, with working with Indigenous people, they often have a lot of intergenerational trauma that the kids are bringing into the classroom with them. So it's a really huge undertaking for a teacher to take on and help manage that space and those emotions.
So what advice would you pass on to teachers here?
Wow, I think you're in an amazing profession, and I encourage you to just be resilient and keep at it. And that one thing I always say, it's multiple bottom lines. Don't just think about your paycheck, though. I say that having won $1 million, but
whoa, $1 million!
There's so many.
You're paying for the drinks after
lines.
this.
You know, the relationships I have with my students are, you can't put a price tag on it.
That's the best thing.
Absolutely, and you get to be a lifelong learner yourself as a teacher. You're always acquiring new skills. You're always meeting new people, and it's just one of the best professions.
And I think the best thing is it was your students that nominated you.
Yeah.
So they love you.
Fantastic.
So do we. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Maggie McDonnell. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, it's time to meet our next guest. Many teenagers spend a great deal of time watching YouTube videos, if they're anything like my children, but our next guests spent their teenage years creating and starring in their own videos. They have 3 million subscribers to their YouTube channel. They won a Streamy Award in 2016 for Best Live. It doesn't say Best Live what. They were nominated for a Teen Choice Award in 2017 as Choice Female Web Stars. Will you please welcome Veronica and Vanessa Merrell, the Merrell Twins? So, the Merrell Twins. So tell me, how did you first meet?
In the womb.
Yes! Thank you very much indeed. I knew you were going to say that. Who was first?
I was born first and she was second. 45 minutes apart.
45 minutes?
Yes.
Whoa, well done, Mrs. Merrell. Was it Merrell or Merrell?
Merrell.
Merrell. Okay, that's wonderful. This is really scary, It's just, I think I am seeing double. Do you do a thing where one sits on the left, one sits on the right? Do you do that thing so you can tell them apart?
Yes, we do.
Okay, always.
Always. I'm always on the right side in our videos, and she's always on the left. Well, your guys is left and right.
Okay, but you sort of instinctively know where to stand. Tell me, it might seem a strange question, but is it cool being a twin, or is it a pain, or is it a bit of both? Because you're always a half of another being, in a sense. Tell me the good things and the bad things.
Well, I mean.
To number one.
That's all we know is just being twins. And we've always grown up being best friends. We've always had someone with us, so we didn't really feel the need to have other friends because we always had each other.
Yep.
But we do have other friends, so we're not like loners. But
I suppose one of the things was can you have separate lives? I mean, do you go out separately, or is there always like something missing? And are your characters different?
The older we get, the more we see how we're like kind of growing as individuals, but we still like love hanging with each other and our characters. So we have characters on our channel and stuff, and they're all very, very different.
Yeah.
They're not alike at all, and so.
You love creating characters, that's the thing
Yes,
about it. So tell me, I'll describe you as YouTube stars. How would you describe what you do?
We are content creators, and we
Content creators. I'm going to fine you for saying that.
And we are the creators of our own show on YouTube, basically.
Yeah, we put out an episode every single Tuesday.
We direct it, write it, produce it, edit with our dad's help as well.
Okay. He holds the camera?
Yes, and he edits.
He edits?
Stuff.
Yeah.
But
Is he here?
Too. He is, but backstage.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe somewhere over there. I
He's
don't
right
know.
there.
Okay.
Oh, he's right there.
Okay, he'll edit that bit out, don't worry. That's good. So tell me, and when did it start? Because you're only about 9, aren't you? I mean, you're amazingly... No, what I'm saying is you're amazingly young to have 3 million on YouTube. I mean, you are global stars, and here you are. I was kidding. How old are you now?
We're 21.
21. I was joking. But I mean, to be that young and it started, what, even younger?
Even younger. Well, we've always had a passion for pursuing just entertainment in general. We loved entertaining people. And, you know, speaking of teachers and stuff, and my teacher in 3rd grade actually inspired us to pursue what we wanted to do. Because I'll tell the story really quickly.
No, tell it slowly. We've got time. It's
All
okay.
right, so the story is...
We've got till Monday.
The story is there was a talent show at our school, right? And we wanted to perform together and sing. And we were actually in separate classes. But so during the talent show, my teacher got to see us, or my teacher did not get to see us perform, but her teacher did. And all the other teachers were like, oh, the twins sang really cute. Like, I wish you could have seen it, to my teacher, Miss Howard. And Miss Howard says to my sister and I, can you just perform it again for me in the class in front of the students, just once again? And we're like, okay, sure. So she took her out of her class and we just sang it together. And Miss Howard was like, this is amazing. I have to show the other teachers. She ended up taking us around the entire school, performing for the 6th grade teachers, the 5th grade teachers, the principal, like very like private like concerts type things. And it gave us so much courage to just sing, and we weren't afraid. We were so timid at first, but once she took us around, we were like, this is something we love doing.
But this reminds me of what Maggie was doing with her. I mean, they recognized something in you, and they said, do you know what, we're going to go with this. We're going to run this, we're going to take it round and really encourage you, and that's a wonderful thing to do. That's good. So it started. So I was wondering if the success that you've had was by accident or if there was a plan behind it. But it started out just as fun, didn't it?
It's
definitely
passion. And
it's always been a passion. Yeah, we've always been making videos since we were young, and it just kind of grew into something a lot bigger, and we didn't expect this to happen.
At what stage did you realize? Was it like sort of creeping followers? Followers are creeping up on Twitter or something. You said, "Oh my God, we've got 100,000 views. Oh my God, we've got 200." So how did that process take place? You began to realize that there were people out there who loved what you did. How did you find out about that?
Well, we you know, there's never really a stage where a YouTuber says like, "Whoa, people love me," and like I'm going to keep making videos. It's because.
But you suddenly realised that you were. I mean, you'd say you were doing it for yourselves, for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And suddenly, this amazing thing that out there, people are going, "We want more of this. We enjoy this. We like this," and you go, "Whoa, hello."
Yeah, I think that moment was when we just saw the numbers started growing, and we were getting a lot of opportunities that we never thought we would. And that's when we were like, wow, this is more than just a fun passion. It's our job. It's our income. It's how we survive. You know?
Then we realized too, with the amount of followers we were getting, that we were role models for young people and that we have a responsibility.
I was going to ask you that because you've got 3 million. Does that give you a big responsibility? How do you feel about that? Because there's a lot of young people. We were talking with Maggie earlier on about how important it is, the role models they have, the influences they have, and the encouragement that they get. So how do you think a lot about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're always promoting to just positivity on our channel and to never give up. We actually just did a series on our channel called Project Upgrade, where we inspire young girls to pursue STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
I'm glad you spelled that out. I always struggle with that.
In case people don't know what that is.
It's okay.
So our just you know, it's a passion making videos, but it's also a passion to inspire people to pursue things they want to do and never give up.
Do you have a big mailbag of people writing to you all the time and asking for advice?
We used to until the post office complained.
Way, brilliant. Oh, you should move to northern Canada, to Inuit territory there. Tell me, have you ever done any videos about swimming?
We haven't, no.
Because you have an Olympic gold medal swimmer here. You know, do you grab people onto your channel? Because the ones I've seen, it's always you two. Do you have guests on as well? I haven't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
You call it a collab.
A collab.
Yes.
I like the sound of that. A collab. That's great. So, well, you have to get Natalie on. That's great.
Yeah,
Were you sporty as well as young, or was it just full-time media stuff? Were you sporty kids?
We did cheerleading and track.
Cheerleading. Whoa. I know. Well, actually, I can see the path from cheerleading into entertaining videos, because you're just such a great double act. You're really, really good. So, Maggie, did you teach many twins where you are?
We do have a few sets of twins in the village, and yeah, they're exciting to teach, and they play lots of tricks on us.
Are there any sort of future web stars in your school?
We do. We have an amazing rapper in our school called Larry T. So maybe we got to get him on your shows as well. He's famous in the Arctic, but he hasn't yet broken through on southern Canada yet. But
that's a great thing. I'm famous in the Arctic. You know, you talk to any polar bears, they all know who I am.
They know him up there.
Well, you know, he can say he is officially the coolest rapper.
Definitely.
The band have woken up, ladies and gentlemen. So it's great, because you say to your rapper there, say, how are you doing? He'll just say, I'm just chilling. So it's great. So, hey, Natalie's thinking, oh, thank God I don't live there. I would not swim every day. Or you probably would. What's the coldest water you've ever swum in?
Oh my gosh, I did the Trans Tahoe relay 2 years ago, so I was in Lake Tahoe, and so it was 56 Fahrenheit. At 100% I got hypothermic. I started drinking the lake water and just wanting to go to sleep, which is the stage where you need to get out of the water.
We've all done that.
But it was right after Olympic trials, and so I was really fit and super lean, and I should not have been in that water without a wetsuit on. I'm such a baby with cold water. I couldn't handle
my
Northern
goodness
Canada.
me. Oh, well, that's, yes, it's good to realize where you should be and where you shouldn't be. I think you were born to be on the internet, weren't you? This is the thing. Do you feel, in a way, when you work on, do you feel that's where you actually are most alive? Because I've worked with people like David Frost, and I realized after a while of knowing him that he was only really alive when he was on television, because that's what he loved. That's what he loved. That was where he felt happy.
I think for us, we've always had this passion to just entertain and just make people happy and smile. Just even when we were younger, we would always make our parents watch our plays with our dolls that we would write. And so just having this opportunity, like YouTube as a platform to be able to make people happy, make people laugh is really cool. And you know, I think it's the best place.
Well, you've done it here too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to the Merrell twins.
Thank you.
Stay where you are. Don't go away. Okay, so we're going to welcome our final guest, staying with YouTube. It's where our next guest adopts the persona of Physics Girl. Do you like physics, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. This is going to go well. Okay, she posts engaging, entertaining videos explaining the fundamentals of physics. She also hosts a PBS Studios digital channel. She studied physics at MIT, graduating in 2011. She then went on to work for the University of California. So she's quite bright, this one. She's pretty smart. As an outreach coordinator at the Center for Astrophysics and Space Sciences. She regularly discusses science on national and international media, including US News and World Report. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Physics Girl herself, Dianna Cowern.
I was so happy you guys were here. All the hugs.
All hugs, absolutely. And you're the only one who can calculate the mean distance between everybody on the sofa.
I absolutely could. I would need maybe a measuring device, and I'd need to know what units you wanted in, and so forth. But yeah, sure.
But physics, I mean, that is traditionally, I don't know, it's had a bad rap over the years, hasn't it, in terms of maths and physics, but people think it's sort of quite geeky, it's quite complicated, it's difficult. You are just driving a train through all that.
Oh, great. The conductor. I think that you're right. I think math and physics has gotten a bad rap. People tend to say that they hated physics and they think that's an okay, cool thing to say.
Yeah.
But like you would never say, I hate reading. I'm like so bad at reading. Like
My children do.
How old are they?
Old enough to know better.
Okay.
Yes, I keep trying, seriously. And I hope they're watching this. They're probably in bed. No, they're probably on YouTube now. They're going to watch the Merrell twins now.
They got to watch these girls, yeah.
No, I'm going to block them and they're going to be on Physics Channel now from now on. So how did it start? Tell me, how did it start? Were you a teacher first and foremost and then?
No. I'm not a teacher. In fact, being in this room with so many teachers is intimidating because I don't consider myself an educator. I consider myself like the sparker of curiosity.
So you do it on the internet. You're like a teacher, but without the CRB checks, all that stuff.
Sorry, the what?
Oh no, they're all the. Oh, sorry, that's complicated. Yes. Now all the background.
I can deal with complicated.
No, it's when you're working with young children and you have to go all things. But you're online, so you actually, you can do it. So. Tell me, so you were saying how it started. I interrupted.
Yeah, so I did my degree in physics at MIT, and I was doing research in astrophysics, and then I switched over and was working on iPad apps at General Electric, sort of trying to find my place in the STEM career, and I just decided that I loved science communication and outreach. And I started a YouTube channel as a side project. I thought maybe one day I'd work on documentaries or write as a science journalist. But then YouTube just picked up. And I was like, Mom, I'm quitting my engineering job to become a YouTuber. And she was like, you doing what on the internet? She was not happy.
And was that a combination of the fact that you were really enjoying it and you were finding your home like the twins did? You were finding your home there? Or was there a demand for it? You suddenly realized people saying, we want more of this. Or the two of those together?
I think it's always that they just started because they were passionate about whatever they wanted to make their channel about. I obviously was passionate about physics because I did an entire degree in it. And I had a ton of other interests. So this was a way to sort of talk about physics and then bring in these other interests. I mean, I make videos about music and some about, I turned a shake weight into a generator.
You're going to have to tell me what a shake weight is.
Oh!
Come on.
Maybe that's an American thing. Oh no, I can't show you.
We don't know.
You don't know? I don't know. What's a shake? Is it something to do with twerking?
It's a weight. It's a weight that has springs on it, and it uses inertia.
Okay, break this down. What are springs?
What are springs?
I'm joking. So it's a weight that has spring on it. Okay, well, an entertaining show, I hope. So it's a weight on a spring?
It's got weights with springs, and so as you shake it back and forth,
okay,
an emotion I'm not going to do.
Oh, yes, you are. You're live. You're going around the world. This is being watched in the White House. Donald Trump saying, I want to see this as a change from Sky and Fox. I'm going to be showing the difference between a shake weight and a generator, and I want to know this. So it's experiments and it's things like this.
Yes.
But is this a sign, do you feel that physics is not being taught, it's a generalization, but do you think that there's something about the way that physics is taught in schools that is not addressing it correctly, and this is why there's such an appetite for your stuff?
It so depends on the teacher.
It does.
I was inspired by my teacher in high school. Kathy Jones was one of the reasons why I went and studied physics, because she was an incredible and enthusiastic teacher. Some teachers end up teaching physics and that's not their specialty, that's not what they're passionate about. It's just out of necessity. So. It just so depends on who's teaching it and whether the enthusiasm comes through.
I was picking up there that the passion is the most, I mean, this goes right across the board, as it well. How were you taught physics well at school? Was it good? Was it taught well? Was it taught badly? How were your teachers? Any of you?
I had an amazing female physics teacher, and she just loved it, and she was a specialist in it, and it was great to have her there because sometimes rural or remote communities have a hard time recruiting, specialized teachers, so it was fantastic.
What made the difference? What was special about her?
I think what makes a difference in any classroom is the relationship. When that teacher can connect to that student, and it's phenomenal when you guys are able to do that online.
Okay.
I think that's very special.
So we've got passion, connection, shake weight, obviously.
Third key ingredient. Yes.
Here's one for you. Are scientists born or made? Discuss.
Made, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So much, man, well, I'm thinking of Stephen Hawking, who...
Well, that was my next question.
Yeah.
You anticipated that. There was a little loop in space-time there that you got onto my next question. Because, of course, we lost him this week.
Exactly.
And there was a remarkable, extraordinary man.
An incredibly inspirational scientist as well. I think it's rare to find a scientist who not only is contributing to their field, which is hard to do nowadays. It's really hard to make really groundbreaking contributions to science because we've come so far already. Yes. So he was one of those scientists, but also inspired an entire generation of scientists. I was inspired by him. I remember seeing him on TV as a kid, and he was the person that taught me, as I stared up at the stars every night, because I grew up in Hawaii. We had good stars in Hawaii.
Very good stars.
Great stars. But
Barack Obama was from Hawaii, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
I looked up at the stars, and I thought I could be one of them.
All the presidents.
No, you get all the presidents on this show, let me tell you.
It's great.
So I'm going to ask, what was it specifically about him that inspired you, do you think?
It was he took sort of the everyday and he turned it into something that you can ask questions about and answer those questions. Find deep answers to questions about anything in the universe. And
do you feel that you're sort of passing that flame on in your own way?
I'm doing my best.
Doing your best.
It's hard. It's tricky. I want to share science. I want to share my enthusiasm and my passion for it. Talk about the things that intrigued me throughout my education, and hope that it's going to inspire. It's going to maybe change the way people view science. Coming back to that question of whether science is cool, I'm hoping to help change the view, make people think that it is.
And how do people find you?
Oh, on the internet, Physics Girl, just Google it, I suppose.
Google Physics Girl. And how much is on there now? How long have you been doing this?
I've been full-time for almost 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my daughter, she has her exams, in fact, yes, coming up in a couple of months' time. So she's going to spend a lot of time on Physics Girl.
Well, it might not help her.
Well,
I'm talking about dark matter and about shake weights. But hopefully she'll get inspired to study.
She will definitely find out about shake weights, unless she falls down one of those internet holes and actually keeps going, oh no, I actually prefer the Merrell twins. oh no, I'm going to Google about Natalie and her swimming. Oh no, but...
not a bad place.
But she gets
to
so
land
distracted at the school that she's at. I think I'm going to need to send her up to northern Canada, where there's no distractions, and that's great. Well, that would be absolutely wonderful. So tell me, just to sort of wrap things up, the message that you would pass on to this conference in terms of the people who their passion is education. What would you say to them?
Yeah, gosh, I would say keep your curiosity. That's sort of what drives me and drives my videos. Any of the topics is something that I'm curious about. I know that as teachers, sometimes it gets hard with all the logistics and all the kids you're dealing with to keep that passion, but remember why you loved the subject in the first place, and that was probably curiosity.
The shared theme, of course, between you as well is social media. What advice would you give to somebody who is wanting to launch their YouTube channel? I mean, I know you don't want rivals. People say, if people come to me for advice, they say, my son wants to be an impressionist, wants to imitate people. And I always say, tell him to read the Bible. They say, why? I say, well, it won't stop him, but it'll slow him down for a couple of years. But how would people get into social media? What advice would you give them? The twins, what would you say?
I would say that find something you're passionate about and be consistent. Share it with all your friends and collab with people. A lot of
collab.
Yes, collab.
We got through. Okay, passion, connection, collab. You've been wonderful guests. Thank you very much indeed for being our guinea pigs on our very, very first show. Thank you very much indeed. Natalie Coughlin, Maggie McDonnell, the Merrell twins, and Physics Girl. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, thanks to our ambassador band and to all of you, our audience here and on YouTube. I'm Rory Bremner. This has been GESF Live. Play a shout, boys.